open
business.
borders, that would mean
Right.
that you, well, then what are you right on economically speaking?
I hate the whole, hey, top 1% pay your fair share. I mean, that's just one of the most annoying comments in the world, I've decided, as someone who's done well, I guess, in my lifetime. Because I feel like, who gets to decide the fair share? I mean, who's the decider of that?
Well, obviously, all of us are going to have different determinations of what we see to be fair, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a fair share specifically for the top 1%, or that you don't believe that there's a fair share. Do you think that the top 1% should have to pay a higher effective tax rate than people who are lower income? I think so, because it is the case that they have significantly more disposable income. Given that they have significantly more disposable income, we're not going to be taking away from their bare necessities, their cost of living, things that they need, if it is the case that we tax that. Comparative
And
to
that will
taxing
only
people who
happen
are
when
poor.
that will only change once they change the long-term capital gains tax rate as well as the qualified dividend tax rate. That's not going to change until someone changes those two things.
Wait, I mean, we can do both at the same time. It's not just going to be long-term capital gains. There's also other tax rates we can address. Why is it that income tax stops increasing in terms of the effective tax? I mean, the marginal tax rate as soon as we hit like 500,000-600,000? Why is it the case that someone making 500,000-600,000 pays the same effective tax rate as someone who is making 100 million? That would be ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I think part of the problem with that, and I don't have numbers to back this up, but I mean, look, once you throw in the 37% highest tax bracket, then once you throw in, let's say, your New York or California state tax and your boroughs and your city tax, property tax, I mean, there's people paying 55 to 60% in taxes. Well, how high do you want to go on that number? 70, 80? I mean, at some point, someone's going to be like, why am I even working hard building a business if I have to pay 70 or 80? They're already paying 60 on the high side. When you factor in all taxes.
Think about it this way. Think about if someone has $20 million, most people aren't going to keep working because they already have $20 million. But why do the people with $20 million still go out and try to make significant amounts of money? Well, it seems like their specific drive is not just monetarily related to be able to like have the money to use it themselves. It's to just have a higher number than other people. It's to play the game of capitalism. It's to own and have power over more things. So again, that still exists for people within the context of the system. There's other incentives other than the way that you're just referring to it. They're just doing it just to have it. They're not doing it because it necessarily adds to their quality of life. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. There's probably a few people like that, but based on the people I know, I don't think it's a high percentage of what you're talking about. I think people just want to grow their numbers.
When we're talking about the millions and millions and millions of dollars that people are bringing in, it's not that it increases their quality of life after a certain point.
Quickly, for everybody watching the stream that was on YouTube, the computer turned off again. For whatever reason, whenever I take anything in or out of the USB slots on the PC, it turns off. So I've now accidentally shut it off 2 times.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna go for a 3rd time over there. So we're done on YouTube for the day. Sorry, y'all. A little bit of a rough day today, everybody. A little bit of a rough day. Dean crash out. So real. I've learned patience, though. What is this guy's argument? Why does he support Trump as president?
So he was essentially saying that he kind of has an issue with the idea that the top 1% need to pay a quote-unquote fair share. I was kind of describing to him that we all have different depictions of what a fair share is, right? And he just because he doesn't believe in other people's notion of a fair share doesn't mean that he doesn't have his own notion of a fair share.
Okay, so do you support him for his tax cuts to the top 1%? Or do you support him because maybe if Harris had won the election, you'd be taxed more?
Is that different? I mean, Trump wanted to keep the tax rates where they are, and she wanted to raise them. Yeah, so that's the same thing.
So what tax hikes did she propose that you weren't a fan of, specifically?
Well, I'm more of the concept of, hey, pay your fair share, but look, anyone paying or making more than $450,000, that's where the tax rates were going to go up at that point.
I know, but how much should she want to increase them by?
I guess it's more of the whole slippery slope, more of the Democrats she may just raise them 2.6%, go back to the old 39.6% tax bracket. But there's a general trend
what would you prefer? Income over 450K per year to be taxed by an additional 2%, or for 17 million low-income Americans to lose Medicaid, 3 million low-income Americans to lose SNAP, 18 million students in school to lose access to free school student lunches?
Well, I'm a human being, so obviously I don't want those things to be taken away from these people.
Right, but given that it had to be one or another, income over 450K per year is taxed an additional 2%, or all these millions and millions of people lose all these benefits. Which one are you going to take?
I guess I don't remember when Trump said specifically, I'm going to take all of this away from these people so that I can keep tax rates where they are.
Well, it's something he did with a big beautiful bill. So
Well,
now
he
that,
did it, but he didn't run on it.
well,
He did it, but he didn't
well, I
run
know
on it.
for sure. So this isn't an argument that I would have given you on October 30th, but this is
Correct.
an argument that I am giving you on July 20th, because right now you have the chance to say you no longer support him as president because he was the worst out of two evils. And in retrospect, you truly would have preferred income above $450,000 per year to be taxed by an additional 2% compared to everything that we've seen as a result of the Trump admin.
And I actually do agree with you. If I had a choice today of a 2.6% tax hike on people making more than 450,000 versus the people that are going to potentially lose their Medicaid, SNAP, and other things. Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather have those people get those things.
Well,
now, I do
see,
agree with you.
that means that means you're not MAGA.
I don't think I am MAGA. I'm just sort of a longtime Republican.
That just means that you're not a Trump supporter.
I'm more of a Republican than a Trump supporter.
Okay, so you don't support Trump.
Well, unfortunately, he ran, so I sort of had to.
Well,
He was the Republican.
No, like we're talking today. Like, what does the stream say? It says, "How do you still support Trump? Do you still support Trump?"
Well, so what I was saying was I originally voted on that. What I support him for today is probably a little bit different because he didn't actually do what I was hoping he would do on both standpoints.
Okay.
If you look more today,
Why do you still support Trump today? Yeah.
I mean, some of the things that he's done right, and look, he's done a lot wrong. I'm not an idiot here. He's done so much wrong. But, okay, look, our military is stronger, and recruitment's up. They're putting more money in the military. So I do like a strong military.
That's a trend that we've seen. The Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, they've been ramping up their expenditure on advertising to get new people to join for the last 4 or so years, and we've seen a progressional change year by year. So I don't know if I.
But it was a pretty big jump, though. It was a pretty big jump on how quickly they hit their recruitment goals this year versus the previous 4 years. Trend line, I'll give you the trend line, but there was a really big jump from last year to this year.
So, like, larger jump in enlistment in the military is why you support them?
Yeah, how quickly they hit their recruitment goals for the year.
Okay, I mean,
how quickly they hit their goals.
But I mean, I think that, like, what has Trump done to influence this?
I think there's a bunch of rednecks, MAGA people who are like, hell yeah, I love America, I love my president, I'm going to go serve. That's all I can think. A bunch of rednecks have just recruited or joined the military. That's all I can think of if you want to ask me why this has happened.
Okay, well, then maybe I'd say here, if Kamala Harris won, like, we'd have less, like, rednecks joining the military right now. But, like, simultaneously, at the end of the day, I'd still prefer a version of reality where Trump wasn't president right now because of all of the bad things that have been as a result of his presidency. Like, sure, I'll acknowledge that maybe that is a consequence of his presidency, but simultaneously, like, the cons seem to outweigh like the pros. Like, this is a pretty minimal pro, but like the cons are massive, right? You know, like the negative impacts of the big beautiful. So if the cons outweigh the pros, that just means that you don't really support Trump.
Well, I'm saying there's some reasons I support Trump.
Can I ask one question? I know this is just random.
No problem,
Is your name Alex?
No, it's Mark.
Okay, just clarifying because I thought you were Alex Jones for a second. My bad. Go ahead.
Hey, Parker, did you go to Northwestern?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I don't know why I thought that. Okay. I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback on this. I think DEI had gone out of whack. DEI, is, per my understanding, is giving an equal opportunity to everyone. You have to look at everyone's resume and give everyone a shot. It had sort of gone way beyond that. From my experience between law firms and in the financial industry, it was like, no, we're going to give the jobs to these people just because. And look, I'm okay with that because these people have been screwed over for hundreds of years. But DEI had gone a little out of control beyond its initial intentions.
I think that a lot of times people truly do misinterpret like DEI and hiring. You know, like as far as I'm concerned, the only place I see DEI and hiring is going to be like gender neutral language and job descriptions. Like even like the inclusion of like blind resume screenings. Like what kind of like DEI like practices have we seen in like the hiring processes that like Trump has now stopped that you were not a fan of either?
And I can't say if they've stopped yet, but it seems like there's a trend towards that. When they were just blindly saying, okay, look, we're going to hire this person because he's a minority and we have to increase the count.
Who is doing that?
These are high level
Name the
law
specific
firms.
DEI policy that you disagree with.
Yeah, like who's doing that?
Well, no, but the policy was let's look at everyone's resume. But actually, what was happening was we're going to hire this person because they're a minority.
Where was this
Name
happening?
the specific DEI policy.
Yeah, where is this
Democrats
happening?
supported.
Like,
This is what I'm
be
saying is
specific here.
there's that's why I can't defend this because there's the policy in writing and there's what was actually happening. So you know what? I'm going to concede on this because I have no documentation. But I'm just saying this is an experience that we see in the high-level law firms and financial institutions nowadays. It just is what it is. Once again, I'm okay with
but
it.
if this is
'cause these people
something
have been screwed over.
is this something that is just going to happening in this unspoken sense that's not on paper, that's not official nor standardized, then Trump can do nothing to stop it.
I think he changed the attitude where some people feel they don't have to do that anymore. But once again, I have no documentation.
So
to back
wait.
this up.
Just like his aura stopped DEI.
His orange Cheeto Puff aura, yes.
like come on, this is like such like a rhetorical baseless argument. Like I think that like his rhetoric surrounding DEI has just led to more persecution of marginalized communities. Like what was every conservative preaching at the top of their lungs when talking about the black mayor of LA when the LA fires were going on? Well, they were
that was
saying,
horrible. It wasn't true. It wasn't true.
They were saying, well, she's black, and we don't think that she is doing her job to the best of her ability. She's doing a bad job, so therefore she must have only gotten the job because she's black, and she's underqualified, and she's DEI. Well, like this is just like one of the many examples of like unjust discrimination against black people, literally because they're black, that Donald Trump has promoted by using language like DEI and framing it in a negative light. I mean, even if we admit that the mayor of LA wasn't doing a good job, we're just going to assume that for the intents and purposes of our discussion. Well, we've had a lot of politicians do bad jobs. I mean, you probably thought Biden did a bad job, but you've never called Biden a DEI hire because he's white, right? And,
I didn't think Biden did a bad job. I did not think.
So I'm just kind of pointing out how his rhetoric surrounding DEI has just led to like more racism, more targeting of black people because they're black.
Yeah, I will concede because, like I said, look, I can't beat the Parker Dean logic tree because there's no way to beat it. Okay, the last thing I'll say is, look, I truly believe economically, immigration helps. But one thing we all forget: 18 to 24-year-old males who didn't go to college get screwed by high levels of immigration because they're competing that same labor force that's coming over that's able to do the exact same jobs. 18 to 19-year-olds, it's like a 22% unemployment rate. 18 to 24, it's about 10.2%. Everyone else is good. It's that 18 to 19 as well as 18 to 20.
This phone died.
Does this guy think legal immigration high scale leads to like worse conditions for people who are 18 through 24? Is that what his argument is?
Who knows?
I
I
haven't
mean,
seen any data on that.
We'll never know because his phone literally died. Welcome in, Tay. Do you support Trump? Tay's not here. Do you want to get somebody up on the live to debate? And then also, Victoria, thank you so much for the $75 donation over on PayPal. Victoria, that is absolutely insane. Holy shit. Victoria says, we love an educated king. Victoria, I love you. Thank you so much for the $75 donation. Thank you so much. If we could please get 750 Victoria W's down below in the chat, it'd mean the world to me. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Yo, Jay with the $250 on PayPal. Can we get some W's for Jay in the comment section for the $250 on PayPal? Thank you so much. Of course, I really appreciate it. I absolutely will, Jay. Thank you. So can we get some W's for Jay in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, bro.
Dude, WJs, y'all. W fucking J's. I would also like to quickly thank Rhea for the $10 on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Rhea. Then Madison with a 4. I appreciate you guys so much. Then also Ian with the $5 over on Venmo. Guys, thank you so much for the love. Welcome in, Air. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Dude, why do you support the worst president ever?
For the most important reasons is AI and crypto. Only thing that matters.
Shut the hell up, buddy. Shut the hell
Not
up.
seriously.
What is he doing for AI and crypto that are just truly transformative?
The first Are y'all not informed on what's going on with AI and crypto? You guys
I mean,
seem to be
I keep in
knowledgeable
the
about
loop.
subject matters.
I have no
I-
clue what's going on. Tell me, give me
I-
one AI policy that
Hold
Donald Trump's
on.
influence
Let-
get
let-
passed
let's-
that's
once
good.
it-
I keep in the loop in crypto. Big bull run right now, but I don't think a big bull run in crypto is enough to support a fascist. So
Yeah, Eric, can you
Hold
name
on.
one AI policy that Trump influence get passed that you think is good?
AI policy? I don't think they've passed any AI policy yet.
Okay, so then why'd you say AI and crypto is the reason why you support Donald Trump? Clearly, it would only be crypto if there's nothing about AI you can mention.
Well, not policy, but a prioritization of
In
AI.
what way? What is he doing? In what way is he prioritizing it?
Well, first of all, he's not blockading it like the last presidency.
How are they blockading it?
He's allowing it to flourish by allowing them to utilize their own energy, building their own energy, a part of their AI.
So then he changed the policy that previously existed on AI to then quote unquote allow them to flourish. What policy did he change?
yeah, he would have had to like change or like stop or rescind something that was set forth by the Biden-Harris administration. So what did he change, stop, or rescind?
Well, as far as I know, when it comes to the AI, he's allowed for the companies that are building the infrastructure to utilize their own private energy sources, which means they're not pulling from the grid.
Own private energy sources that aren't pulling from the
Yes.
grid? Like
Correct.
what?
Well, that's what's crazy. Like y'all are really up to date on a lot of things, but seemingly y'all didn't just see what happened in Pennsylvania with them $90 billion going towards energy.
Like
AI. Hold on. Energy.
No.
Specifically-
Like, do these AI plants have fucking arc reactors?
What happened?
Do these AI plants have fucking arc reactors or some shit?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you were up to date on what's going on, you would see that 3 nuclear plants are going to be put on by 2026.
So
And
nuclear energy?
Nuclear, yeah.
Part of it is going to be nuclear. Hold on. Part of it is going to be nuclear. Part of it is going to be gas, and part of it is going to be.
So what was Donald Trump's involvement in this? How did he allow it? What EO did he pass to quote unquote allow this?
I'm making it a priority.
But what is
In
that?
what way?
That's
What
just
did he
rhetoric.
do?
In what way did he make it a priority?
No. God, listen. None of this is happening if he doesn't make it a priority.
But what does that even mean?
Hold on.
This just sounds like rhetoric. Like you're like so from my perspective, I think that we've seen a massive boom in AI in the last 3 years, and every day that passes, that boom gets bigger, faster, and more insane, and things start growing at a quicker pace, right? So I
Right.
think like in the last 6 months, that boom has continued. Facilities are popping up everywhere. Everyone's talking about AI. It's huge, right? And I feel like what the Trump administration is doing, they're like, boom, we're doing this. This is us. This is so us. This is our accomplishment because I'm the president and it's a priority. When in all reality, it's not really doing anything. It's just taking credit for something that's already happening, right? And if you want to prove me wrong here, if you want to prove me wrong here, you got to be able to tell me like exactly what he's doing to help push the needle in the direction of more AI development, like an executive order that he signed, a bill that he passed, anything that he's done.
Well, the main thing is the energy dominance, different from the last president,
That's just a
which was focused.
That's
on,
just a
was focused on. Listen, which was focused on this whole green thing, when in
This green
actuality,
this green thing.
when in actuality, to be able to make this AI surge, you need energy and you need it now. And what that means is utilizing.
So let's invest in renewable energies, right?
No, because it doesn't produce the same. You need nuclear energy, and was that going to happen?
Nuclear, and wait, I just want you to know it's less cost effective to do nuclear. Did you know that? As compared to wind and solar, it's less cost effective, especially in the long run, because the trend of cost of production, specifically for wind and solar, are drastically decreasing with the investments. If you look at the Department of Energy, in the past 10 years, we've seen over a 3 times decrease in the price of solar for cost of production.
Then also,
Yeah, you
can we-
you might be talking about like upfront costs, but you're not talking about in totality. You can't be talking about.
Can we also like just talk about the fact that like the production of non-renewable energy resources under the Biden-Harris administration was huge? Like, no, we actually oversaw a larger amount of domestic production of crude oil under the Biden-Harris administration than we did in Donald Trump's first term. Right? And the reason I thought what they were doing was so great was they were not only approving more permits for drilling on federal lands, so U.S. production of crude oil takes up a more significant portion of the global supply of oil, but they were also like making multi-million-dollar investments into renewable energy resources. So in the future, when those investments make it more affordable to be reliant on renewable forms of energy resources, we'll be able to make the switch for more people at a faster rate, since we'll dominate more of the global oil supply. So once again, like your claim that he's great for AI because it's something to do with like the production of energy is just kind of a rhetorical word salad, right? You haven't really given us anything with allow me to finish, dude. You haven't given us anything of substance. You've just been throwing words and phrases around. Like the first words and phrases that you were trying to throw around is like, put in a priority on AI. Then I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? Then you're like, energy boom. And then I was like, what? And then you're like, the last administration was focused on the green thing. I'm like, what? Like let's try to get like an actual argument here that isn't just like brainless one-liners that you read on Facebook. What is something Trump has done that you're a fan of? Let's start there. What is one thing Trump has done like an executive order, like a policy through Congress, something he has done that you're a fan of?
First of all, he's appointed David Sachs as AI crypto czar. That was a huge move on the chess.
Name one thing he's done.
That's a literal thing.
No, name one thing the guy has done.
The Genius Act, Clarity Act, those are both crypto.
Genius Act and Clarity Act?
Correct.
Okay, can you tell me one?
Are y'all not familiar? Y'all gotta be.
I can't ask. I'm asking you just for one aspect of it. Can you tell me one part of it?
Stable coins are the main aspect of the Genius Act.
David Sachs had just as much to do with the Genius Act as Democrats in Congress did. He didn't draft the bill.
Oh yeah, no. It was a bipartisan.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Exactly. He didn't draft the bill. He didn't write the bill. He didn't influence to get passed. He just said that he supported it. Same thing with Democrats. It was a bipartisan bill. So in other words, David Sachs has done less for your goals than the Democrats in Congress have. Because he didn't vote for the bill, but the Democrats in Congress did. So are you more happy with the accomplishments of the Democrats in Congress compared to the accomplishments of the Trump administration so far?
Well, it's surprising that, that you would be able to get Democrats to sign on anything that Trump would want to pass, and that they overwhelmingly did vote on it because they know the importance of it. Yeah, they know the importance of it. That's why they had to make this move, because there's no other way. They seen the importance of it.
He thinks there's more bipartisanship when Trump is in office. What a fucking joke, dude.
No, I'm saying specifically for the Genius Act bill.
It's because like I'm pretty sure from the research that I've done that it's a good bill.
Has nothing to do with Trump, though, right?
Yeah.
You understand that, like,
yes, it does.
Let me explain. Listen. One, he specifically didn't like advocate for this specific policy. Two, right? It is bipartisanly supported. So even if he did, Bridge of the Galaxy, by the way, it doesn't uniquely set him aside from any Democrat that ran. Okay, so please give us something about Donald Trump as it relates to AI that's unique to him that makes him so much better off.
Can I also just let you know that like the two main sponsors of the Genius Act, like they weren't MAGA. It was a Republican senator from Tennessee and a Democrat senator from New York. It was just like literally a bipartisan push with a Democrat main sponsor, right, to get passed through Congress.
When was the last bipartisan bill that got passed?
The American Rescue Plan, or I don't know if that was too bipartisan. It's been a while. It's because
it's been 10 years.
It's
10
it's,
years.
it's because when the
10
Democrats,
years.
it's because when
It's
Biden,
been 10 years.
it's because when
It's
Biden,
been 10 years.
bro, shut the fuck up before I kick you. What the fuck are you doing? Why do you? It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. Dude, what, dude? Calm the fuck down.
Not because y'all acting like it's it's so easy. Like, oh, we got this bipartisan. Like,
I'm gonna speak now, and don't just repeat the same statement 10 times while I'm speaking.
10 whole years.
Jesus Christ, everybody! I think it's been 10 years. I'm tired as fuck today, Air. I've at my wits end, dude. I'm sorry for raising my voice at you. My apologies, but calm the fuck down, please. Okay, it's been 10 years. We get it. Now listen to what I have to say. Well, the reason for that is when the Biden-Harris administration was sitting in the White House, helping to influence policy to get passed through Congress, the MAGA directive was to vote against anything and everything they wanted to do, even if it was good for this country, because Trump doesn't care about this country. Trump cares about gaining support, winning elections, and sticking up for him and his rich friends. Yeah. And unlike the Democrats, who are actually willing to co-sign themselves onto good legislation. Yeah, like the Genius Act, right? They knew that it'd lead to airheads like you, Air, coming out here saying that, oh, it was an accomplishment of Trump, even though it was fucking sponsored by a Democrat. But they don't care because they just want this country to have good policy. But when there was good policy proposed to Congress under the Biden-Harris administration, like the bipartisan border bill that would have funded courts on the border more to expedite all legal claims of immigration, which would have reduced undocumented entry, that's when Trump and his cronies were like, we must order the directive to vote against the bill. If this bill passes, America will be better and more people will support the Biden-Harris administration. Kill the bill. Kill the bill. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why we haven't seen bipartisanship in quite a long time.
well, seemingly Trump was able to pull it off in good old 6 months into presidency.
What did he pull off? What did he have to do? He had to sign it into law?
Bro, obviously you haven't done enough research.
Well, inform me.
Obviously,
What did he pull off? It was drafted by a Republican and Democrat.
first-
Shit, that's a
and-
signed done deal for me. If we see a piece of policy that's not absolutely atrocious and is sponsored by a Republican and a Democrat, that bill's passing, bro. All right, what did Trump do?
Firstly, like I stated before, he prioritized it. He ran on making America a crypto capital of the world. Is that a correct statement? Yes.
He said it like once at a rally in 2023. Yeah.
On the Biden administration with the SEC was the whole time bringing companies in suing companies, the entire administration. That's all that was happening. They was suing crypto up and down the whole time.
There was a lot of lawsuits from the SEC to crypto companies
Correct.
because they didn't have like adequate regulation. Yeah, everybody in the space knew this, even the Democrats. That's why the Democrats sponsored this bill.
Well, so you don't want to give credit for a bill to make it. Have y'all actually looked at the Genius Act and what it actually does, which is going to be an issue for the long term because it's actually going to.
Remember, the question that you're answering is supposed to be, what did Trump do? Besides signing it, what did he do? Just saying that he ran on an emphasis of cryptocurrency isn't doing the trick for me, man. The reason why this doesn't do a trick for me is because maybe if he like added a push for like crypto policy and inside of that, like he ran on anything on his platform or his agenda to do it, then we'd be able to attribute it to Trump, like the big beautiful bill. But like the Genius Act, that wasn't in his agenda. That wasn't one of his proposed pieces of legislation. That's something that came from bipartisanship and understanding and recognizing that crypto needs regulatory guidelines to be set so crypto companies can stop getting sued out of the ass by the SEC. Right? Trump didn't do anything for the Genius Act.
If you knew the guy that actually orchestrated the bill that the gentleman you talked about from Tennessee actually was a not just an interpreter for him in his last presidency, but he helped that gentleman get to the position that he's in. And he wrote the bill along with David Sachs that he appointed as AI and crypto czar. I think that is orchestrating.
Wait. David Sachs didn't write this bill. He just voiced his support for
I
it.
said he was a part. I said he was a part of it. He is the AI and crypto czar. So he's heading.
What part did he play outside of vocal support?
Helping to put it together.
What did he do specifically? I find no evidence of him helping to put it together.
Well, you would have to listen to the czar himself speak about.
So what did he say that he's done to help this bill?
First, he's heading it. He understands.
He didn't head anything. He didn't head the bill. What's the evidence he headed the bill?
Is he not the AI and crypto czar?
He is, but that doesn't mean, like, what was his involvement with the Genius Act? Outside of vocal support, what was his involvement?
His understanding of the markets and payment rails.
Bro,
being.
So did he like meet like with anybody? Did he tell him this? Did he help write the bill? Where's the evidence that he had any involvement with the language of the bill?
First of all, this dude is an OG, part of the PayPal mafia. Are you familiar?
Dude, that doesn't tell me what he did to help write the bill, silly goose.
Bro, I don't know what else could be. Like, you want me to pull out the actual line that he wrote in the legislation? Like, What are you talking about? Like, who has those receipts?
So I want anything. I want anything to show that they had any involvement with this.
Besides him speaking at the Genius Act, the only person to speak, actually, David Sachs, the only person to speak. Trump and David Sachs.
Wait, you think that they didn't? Wait, you think that they didn't host any oral debates on the floor of the House or the Senate for this?
No, I'm talking about the public announcement and signing of the bill. There was only two speakers, Trump and David Sachs.
Yeah, no fucking shit. The Trump administration will say they did everything, but what do they actually do?
Bro, they got it through. People thought this bill was impossible to pass.
They didn't get it through. It was literally sponsored by a Republican and a Democrat.
A Republican? Did you see how many votes that it got? That it took to pass it? Did you see
we're
the total?
We're not talking about the votes. We're talking about the sponsors.
No. Look at the votes. Then you can see that it dominates on the Republican side.
Okay, all right, but I'm going to go ahead and drop you just because you literally cannot track and or follow anything that is being said. I do appreciate you so much for your time, though. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute. Emily, thank you so much for the $100 over on Venmo 12 minutes ago. Emily, that is seriously insane. Thank you so much for the love, Emily. Emily says, again, mega fan and cannot thank you enough for everything that you do. Emily, thank you so much for your kindness. If we could please get 1,000 Emily W's down below in that comment section for the $100, that would be so incredibly kind. Seriously, Emily, thank you so much. That is so much money. Thank you, Emily. As well as Crystal for the $20 over on Venmo saying, me and my 16-year-old daughter love you, Dean. Keep doing what you're doing, waking people up, and teaching the ones who are just about the age to vote that should vote for what is best for our country, not just decide. You're incredible. Love and light. Crystal, as well as Crystal's daughter, guys, thank you so much for the kind message and for the $20 donation. Let's show some love to Crystal down below in that chat. Thank you so much. And then Elena, 14 seconds ago, with a $20 donation over on Venmo, asking about the Genius Act. Well, there you go. We just had a little bit of a conversation about that. Thank you so much, Elena. Everybody, show some love to Elena down below in that chat. That is ELENA. Thank you, Elena. Now, Mr. Big Rig, if you'd like to unmute yourself and have a convo, that'd be great. Feel free to take it away. While you're doing that, I'm going to thank 3 people. Sasha, thank you for the $40 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Sasha. If we could please get 400 Sasha W's down below in that comment section right now, that'd be great. That is SACHA. And yes, I will give you my thoughts on the new Jubilee episode because I definitely have some. But thank you for the $40. And then Hassan, HSEN, thank you for the $20. I really appreciate you so much for the love. I got your message there. I'm going to send that to a friend that may know a little bit more so I could be a little bit better informed about what you're referencing. And I will happily raise support. I want to know what's going on first. So I appreciate you for the message. I'm going to send that over to a friend that will know more. And thank you so much. Now, Big Rig, if you'd like to unmute have a conversation, that'd be great. I just sent you the invite.
You want to keep being a stupid little kid up on this app, speaking that you're just lying all the time.
How are we lying?
1 second. That was mumbo jumbo. Put the beer down, sit up straight.
I said you just want to keep
and project from your chest,
being
okay?
up on this dumb app because this app doesn't do nothing but just keep people on the cycle of scrolling online.
Bro, listen. Okay, right now, I'm not even joking. I know that this is gonna come off like facetious or rude. I'm actually being serious. Like wherever you're sitting, just real quick, sit up straight.
I'm sitting up
There you go.
straight.
There you go.
right
Sit
now.
up straight. That's right. Clear your
I'm
mouth.
sitting up straight
Clear
right
your
now.
mouth. Cough, breathe in, breathe out, and then project from
What's
your
your
chest.
deal, buddy? You can't understand what I'm saying.
I could understand a little bit better. Just a little bit more projection,
So,
with like the right
what's the
posture. We'll be
deal,
able to hear
bro?
you all right.
What's the deal, huh?
Well, we want to know why you support Trump, Mr. Big Rig.
Huh?
We want to know why you support Trump. Wait, were you calling us stupid?
You're a stupid little kid. You don't know shit up in this app. You don't know. Do you want to laugh about that? You want to laugh about
Can you
that?
tell us what we've lied about while we're stupid?
Feelings and facts over feelings. You only debate and think and speak and vote with your feelings because you don't have no testosterone in your body.
Okay. Can you tell me what your T levels are?
Way higher than both ears combined.
Then tell me, what are your T levels?
I don't need to get them checked out because I know that I'm well.
So you don't even know what your T levels are and you're bragging about them?
They're double what yours are.
Really?
You have no clue what they are.
Hey, would you say that your T levels are probably like around like 90 nanograms per deciliter?
They're way better than that.
Oh, so would you say like 100 nanograms per deciliter?
Whatever the best one is.
How many beers?
Huh?
How many beers
How many beers what?
have you drinking?
Since when?
Since when is diabolical, dude? How about this? How about this? In
3
the past
hours
10
ago.
hours. In
10
the
hours.
past 10 hours.
In the past, what?
10 hours.
I don't know. Just a little pack.
A whole pack? Yeah.
A little
Just
pack.
a-
Do you think
Wait. 6 or 12?
Like 24.
24
Jesus
24
Christ.
beers?
Since
24
yesterday.
bottles of beer on the wall.
Since
24
yesterday.
bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around.
Is
23
that a
bottles
little-
of beer on the
that
wall.
a
Thank you for the
problem?
galaxy. Let me tell you a
Is
friend.
that a problem?
Let me tell you a story.
Is that a problem?
Let me tell you
You
this.
got a problem with people who
let me
live a lot?
he got banned. I was gonna tell him a story. I guess he doesn't want to hear it. Avery, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. I appreciate you for that love. Show some love to Avery down below in that chat. Thank you so much. Avery says, "Hi Dean, love you. How would you respond to the question?" And I quote, "Why does it matter to pay attention when you're underage or have an opinion or be vocal?" Well, it definitely matters to pay attention so you know how to apply the right critical thinking processes, or at least some background on what's going on either in your local area, state, or country when you are of age to finally vote. Think about it like if you don't pay attention to politics at all before you're 18, the day you turn 18 is the day that you're just jumping in the deep end. And, who knows? Maybe there's an upcoming election that will only give you a month or two to really figure out what's going on. Well, if you start at least paying a little bit of attention prior to that point, you kind of learn how to swim in the kiddie pool, right? That'll definitely help you out when you ultimately take a dip in the deep end. What's going on, Michael? Do you support Trump?
No, and I don't know how I got here. I didn't request to be in here. I don't even know how it connected me to this. I'm being 100.
No worries, Michael. You probably accidentally requested, but no worries at all, dude. No worries at all. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. Hello, Cole.
Hi, Dean.
Age.
18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
What month?
April.
Okay. I mean, it does say 2007 in your name, so I'm willing to take your word for it. You have some pretty convincing proof there, Cole. Why do you support Trump?
Well, to be honest, it starts with me because I think he has a very good character.
Cole, is this a joke?
No. I think
It
it's
has
good.
to be.
Wait,
No,
tell
you
us
have
some
to
of
be
the tell us
joking.
some of his good character attributes. Let's hear it.
He has to be joking.
Uh,
This is rage bait. Just admit it.
I think it's just like good to finally have like a good Christian in the White House who upholds nice
Yeah,
values.
name one Christian norm
He's
that
totally-
Donald Trump upholds.
You're totally trolling.
I think one thing that I like is that he's very against lust, and that's something I agree with.
Okay.
Cheated on every single one of his wives.
Well, I mean,
Did
I
you
don't-
did you see the new letter he sent Epstein?
he sent Epstein a letter?
Yeah. Do you want Dean to read it off for the chat?
Yes.
Well,
yes, please.
the takeaway is that it included a depiction of a naked woman with a statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret."
I've heard about this in your other
And yesterday,
debate.
we figured out about how apparently he hosted a party with a bunch of women, and the only two men there were him and Epstein.
That's sus.
Yeah.
So, were the women were they like underage?
Why is that a question being asked when we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
You know what I mean? 'Cause
I mean,
maybe-
Jeffrey Epstein himself said that Donald Trump was his closest friend for nearly a decade.
So they were like best friends.
For over a decade, I mean. Yeah,
Damn.
closest friend.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein, you never know. He could have,
then
taken a
Donald-
dip into the older gals.
Oh, and then Donald Trump said he likes that Epstein's a terrific guy and that he likes beautiful women as much as he does, many of them on the younger side. Please tell me why Donald Trump said that to a known child sex trafficker.
I think that he probably said that because, Donald Trump is very old himself. He probably has erectile dysfunction or something of that sort. So he actually, I don't like.
Why did you just randomly say that?
Does he have
what
sex
the
with his
fuck?
wife?
What?
We're gonna kick call. Bye, buddy. Yeah, this next debate's probably gonna be my last one, y'all. I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. It's currently 8 p.m. and I still gotta pack a bag and buy a plane ticket. In fact, I'm actually curious. Have I heard back anything from for the confirmation on that? My flight has been approved.
Nice.
Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Yeah, waking up at 4 a.m. for a flight, everybody. Flying out to LA for a day or two. It's worth actually talking about. I'm speaking on a private panel to a group of like really rich people about why diversity and equity matters, why like systemic oppression of marginalized communities is happening, and like where they can put their money on in good places on the left to actually see a good return in the electorate base. Maybe that's getting more people to vote or just getting people to hold on to, more progressive values. Now, it's a pretty cool opportunity with a lot of really cool people. I'm speaking alongside professors from UCLA, professors from Stanford, Hollywood, critically acclaimed, directors. And, apparently like the people there are like neurosurgeons, some celebrities, just kind of like that Hollywood crowd. So I don't know how I got an invite to this. I was pretty perplexed when I saw it hit my inbox and saw a little bit about it. It's kind of like one of those like secret events type thing. But I mean, hey, I will happily take the opportunity to influence a shit ton of people with a fuck ton of money on the left into putting it in better places, because I think maybe one of the big downfalls that we've seen of left-leaning investors is just not investing it right. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool. So I'm going to be out there for 2 days. And it's also worth noting that for the next 2 days, I am going to try to do live streams, but they will only be on TikTok off of my phone, and I'm not going to be on YouTube. But yeah, anyways, welcome up, the Black Conservative. Do you support Trump?
I do support President Trump.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, if you'd like to take it away and tell us why you support Trump, I'd be a fan. Take it away.
I feel like he's a very strong president for the country at the time that we're in. And I also feel very betrayed by the Democrats. I'm 43 years old. I've voted Democrat all my life, being an African American. and I'm just so fed up with their lack of getting the job done.
Okay.
And one thing, if you notice about President Trump, he gets the job done no matter what.
He definitely didn't get the job done with releasing the Epstein files, building that wall, ending the Russia-Ukraine war, or cutting prices so fast on day one your head would spin. As well as a lot of people on the right would argue he hasn't been getting the job done with the mass deportation and that his numbers have been lacking. I'd argue that he didn't get the job done with his economic policy. He promised us American prosperity. Turns out GDP went down in the first quarter and millions of low-income Americans are losing the benefits they need to live. So I would say he's failed at a job of making this country better. What about you?
He still has time to work as the president. It's only his first year and his first term,
Yeah.
so he still has a lot of work
It's
to do.
actually
But
his second term.
comparison to like the Democrats, the things they promised African Americans, they have failed for years, and they don't. And one thing I don't realize, I don't understand, especially with Black Americans, why they never call out the racism of the Democratic Party.
You know what?
Like,
You and me are actually going to agree on a lot here. I think that the Democratic Party has, definitely not delivered on a lot of the promises that they've made to Black Americans. But I just simply say they're significantly better for Black Americans than the right, 110%.
why would you say it's so significant when they make promises like they never came through ever since the civil rights movement? You take Fannie Lou Hamer, who came as the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, they shut her down. She came for four votes in the Democratic Party. They shut her down, and that's in the civil rights movement. And then when you go into earlier modern days, you take a candidate like Gary Chambers, who's running for Senate in Louisiana. They totally shut him down. He had the opportunity to get funding from the Democratic Party.
Dude,
they
yeah,
came up-
they shut down people that aren't in the establishment. We saw this happen to Bernie. We kind of saw it happen to I'll just go with Bernie for now. We saw this happen to Bernie big time. The left definitely shuts down people that aren't a part of the establishment. I'll agree with you 110%. But this definitely doesn't prove me wrong that still yet the right is going to be worse for Black Americans. I could give you a bunch of specific reasons if you're curious.
Well, the thing that it is that like you take a candidate like Gary Chambers. I've been an activist all my life. I grew up around people from the Nation of Islam, all these type of things. And you take a guy like Gary Chambers who went to Louisiana and he protested about Robert E. Lee being the name of schools that Black Americans go to. He's an active person in his community. Then he runs for Senate, and the Democratic Party says, we're not going to give you the funding to be a senator. When the senator that is the guy who voted for the big blue bill. So when you say the right can do more, but it's the left that has the power, and they choose a person like Gary and totally stab him in the back.
Here's what I'll say. I know nothing about Mr. Chambers and what the DNC did or did not do to fuck him over. Let's just assume that the DNC did fuck him over. Now, let me ask you a question. Today, his affiliation is still with the Democratic Party. Why do you think that is if they fucked him over so badly and you're using this as motivation to be a Republican?
Because it's kind of like, I don't know what terms to use as far as guidelines, but it's kind of like I would say brainwashed if this is a safe term, feeling that you can still get something out of this party when you is 1964 and your tax money, like when Kamala ran, she talked to an activist in Detroit City. And this activist has stood up for Black women, Black people, and everything. And he said, what would you do for Black men that have built this country to help make it great? She said we would study reparations versus the study is the people in Israel. They've gotten their land for 77 years. It's been 65 years, and we've made no progress giving the Democrats 85% of our vote, meaning that without that 85%, the Democrats do not win. When they do win, the Black agenda is at the bottom of it. They're so weak in their government, I can't even vote anymore. It's like when they held the Senate in the House, when President Biden won, they couldn't even pass the George Floyd bill. And
I have a question. You're saying that the last priority of the Democrats is to serve to the best interests of Black Americans. Would you argue that it's a priority at all for the right?
Well, they don't have if they had 85% of the numbers that the Democrats do, they would look at it more realistically.
Can I just get a yes or no? Do you think that it's a priority at all for the right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't
Well,
have to
see,
cover numbers.
this is the reason why so many people, right, can critique the Democratic Party, recognize that they've made false promises, and in even some sense virtue signal to marginalized communities, but still yet say that they're going to be the more promising party at the end of the day, because unlike the right, it is a priority. And if you want to argue that it's a low priority, this just means that we have a better base plate for building off of the political parties in which encompass millions of Americans to hopefully make the Democrats more progressive and better serve to the interests of marginalized communities compared to the right. Like imagine that you're trying to start like a really old lawnmower. It's one of those pull cords. Maybe the lawnmower, like metaphorically speaking of the left, you've got the motor started, but the blades are just a little bit shabby and it's not cutting the grass too good. And this is a symbolization of how well the Democrats serve to the better interests of Black Americans. Well, speaking about this metaphorical lawnmower on the right, they haven't even gotten the motor started yet. The motor's all fucked up. You got to replace some gears. It doesn't even have blades. And all this just goes to kind of show that we want progression inside of the Democratic Party, especially as it relates to the service of the interests of marginalized communities, including Black Americans. But they're doing a whole lot better right now than the right.
Well, when you mentioned that lawnmower metaphor, I believe that if some of the power shifted to the right, and you actually, for me, I speak as a Black man that wants things better for the Black community on the right. When you speak of that lawnmower metaphor, I think that if you give the right time, you might have that pull lawnmower. But if you put something on the table from this real substance, you'll be driving a zero turn by the end of the day if you're on the right. President Trump,
Dude, President Trump took away Medicaid from 17 million low-income Americans because of systemic racism. Black Americans are more likely to be low-income compared to white Americans, right? Once again, because of systemic racism, meaning that the cuts under the Big Beautiful Bill stripping healthcare away from low-income Americans disproportionately impacted Black Americans. Same thing with his cuts to food stamps. Same thing with his direction to the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. 55% of women that get abortions indicate because of financial instability. Black women are more likely to experience financial instability compared to white women, once again, because of systemic racism, slavery, and its aftermath. So overturning Roe v. Wade, disproportionately disenfranchised Black women compared to white women. And I mean, we see this time and time again, where not just because of the explicit, targeted, and direct racism of the right may be related to the weaponization of terms such as DEI or their immigration policy or a billion other examples. We see a lot of indirect consequences of their lack of a care for the average American or low-income Americans that only serve to disproportionately set Black Americans back further, right? And I understand that the Democrats have dropped the ball on not co-signing to legislation to fix a lot of the systemic injustices that exist targeted towards Black Americans as a result of slavery and its aftermath. But what they are doing is they at least seem to want to fight for the average American and low-income Americans more so than the right does. The right wants regression. The left wants a little bit of progression, which not only doesn't set Black Americans back, but sets them forward a little bit. I agree we should be setting Black Americans forward more, but setting Black Americans forward a little bit is definitely preferable to setting Black Americans back.
that little bit is more like a crumb on a pie in comparison to the years that the blacks have given the Democrat power. They should be living just as well as the people in Israel. The Nation of Islam and other blacks have fought for having land in Africa, and the Democrats have never delivered. When you speak on DEI, DEI has never meant nothing in the corporate world. It would give the most elite black person that already has a degree, that already has the education, that already has the 4.0, an opportunity. But that person would still have to overwork themselves to prove themselves, even with the legislation like DEI. If DEI was something really that the people can touch, people at Burger King would be district managers in Arby's and all these fast food restaurants that black people work in. DEI never gave them an opportunity to be an area manager or district manager because of the minority numbers. DEI never stood in the way of opportunity. It's just like one of those things that they hang over your face and say, we're fighting for you, but they're not really fighting for you. And when you speak on when they take away low income benefits, well, by the population of numbers, white people are more popular, so they're going to be hit by those benefits just as hard as the black community. The only difference is, and the thing that I challenge about Democrats is, the only difference is when they're hit with these benefits and they realize, oh, we really messed up with this bill, they're going to go to their town halls, they're going to jack up those senators, and they're going to make them get it right. Versus the Democrat, when they do something wrong, for example, the George Floyd bill, and they couldn't pass it, then you had 2 senators that were Democrats that didn't even vote with the bill. We just let them slide. We don't criticize them. We don't harass them or nothing.
I'll let Parker up in here, but what I would like to say is that denying the disproportionate impact of the rescission of social safety nets as a disproportionate negative impact on Black Americans is just denying a systemic injustice rooted in racism. And in denying said systemic injustice, I just fail to see why you're positioning yourself as somebody that wants justice.
Well, one thing that I feel like with President Trump, if I was a person that could speak with him and speak on behalf of Black Americans on the right, he just doesn't have the right people to speak in a real term. And one thing about him is he does get things done. When he tried to create the First Step Act, he released a lot of federal prisoners that saw freedom. Now, it was stipulations in there that were kind of screwed up, whatever, but in hand, he still freed a lot of people with that act. And then he had the First Step Act, and then he had another act where investors would get tax breaks for building in low-income housing. And he also hired Ben Carson and the head of the HUD, and they got a substantial amount of work done in my city. I live in Huntsville, Alabama, in Ohio, Chicago, and a lot of urban cities that I know people in. So they had the right representation with this president. No one tells him what to do. He will get something done. But if you continue to have the normal Black conservative representation that tends to kind of forget about Black community and act white, they don't even know what to give lower income or Black people. But if someone like me that came out of poverty and made himself and can negotiate on this side, we can turn that push lawnmower into a zero turn real quick.
Okay, so here's one thing I would essentially ask is I was asked what's something unique to Donald Trump that Democrats don't support that would mean that you support him, because if we reference the First Step Act, that was stuff that was supported by Democrats, right?
Yes.
And it was the case that the Republicans wouldn't vote for it until it is the case that a Republican was in office.
Excuse me, I caught when you said that the Democrats accepted it. I kind of lost track because I remember Hakeem Jeffries did a lot in Brooklyn to help people get out with the First Step Act. But what was your question again behind that?
What I was saying is that that's bipartisan. So what I was saying is that is there something unique to Donald Trump that he supported that Democrats didn't support that would set him aside from Democrats to say that he's better?
Because he's stern and he is like he gets the job done versus like if like the gentleman gave an
Can you be specific with what you're referencing?
say for example like the way he just took over the Republican Party and no one would, he would make ways that you were going to go my way versus like when you're on the Democratic side, when Joe had office with full power, he allowed at least 2 Democrats not to vote on the George Floyd
Wait,
bill.
okay, can you tell me specifically what Donald Trump did?
He used his authority. He
Yeah,
used his power.
in what way? In what way did he use his authority that you think is beneficial, that is unique to him, that Democrats do not show? That would mean that you support him because he's better.
Well, just like a CEO or a boss of a company, he tells you to get the job done.
So, like, you can't mention anything specific that he's done?
Well, no, I couldn't, but I've seen him in that term where if I could just put it in layman's terms, he bullies you. He makes
So if you can't mention a single thing that Donald Trump has done that is unique, that would be better, and we can mention things specifically that Democrats have done uniquely that are better, right? Well, then wouldn't that indicate that Democrats would be better?
And then also,
why would it make sense to vote for the candidate that's worse?
Can I just add on here? Can I just add on here real quick that I think the reason why you can't name any specific things that Donald Trump has done that is unique to him, that is better for the interests of Black Americans, is because I don't think he likes Black Americans, and I could give you a really compelling argument insofar as why.
So when you talk about, I wouldn't say he doesn't like Black Americans.
I would. I'll give you an
He
argument.
rose the career of Mike Tyson when he was boxing.
Listen.
He rose the career of Emma Rose and Dennis Rodman. He put Ben Carson in office.
Can I give you my argument?
But then, if you don't mind, if I can go back to Parker's point, if that's okay.
For sure. I'll give you the argument, then you could go back to Parker's point. Just super duper quick. The reason why I don't think that he likes Black Americans is because a lot of Black Americans don't like him, right? And we've seen this trend in Trump over and over and over again of just holding disdain towards people that don't embolden his bullshit, right? I mean, he denied funding for the wildfires in California just because California's blue. And in order for the governor of California to get that money, he had to convince him that there were some Republicans in the red districts. He's gone on stage and just said that he hates all Democrats because they don't embolden his bullshit. In fact, they despise his bullshit. And I mean, what is the logical conclusion of all these facts as well as others? Well, Black Americans as a voting demographic were against Trump in 2016, against Trump in 2020, and against Trump in 2024. I wish I could give you like the particular, like percentage of Black Americans that do or don't like Trump, but the broad majority don't like the guy. And all that this tells me is because the vast majority of Black Americans don't stand up for Trump's bullshit. Trump doesn't stand up for them either. And he's made it so clear anybody that is reasonable should hopefully agree with this conclusion. And because he seems to not like Black Americans for this reason, maybe that's why he hasn't done anything that's super compelling or unique and against the grain to help Black Americans. Maybe that's why he's been weaponizing terms against Black Americans like DEI. Right? Maybe that's why he defunded historically Black universities. Maybe this is why he hasn't spoken at all about the struggles of Black Americans, while at the same time passing policy that has disproportionately made them struggle more in so many senses, regardless if it's the cuts under the BBB, the impositions of tariffs, or maybe why he spoke down on Kamala Harris's blackness by posting a picture of her and her South Asian family saying, "I never knew she was Black."
So, Donald Trump has only had 4 years or 5 years with his first term in this term now. The Democrats have had 64 years, 65 years. And then when you say, well, when he liked Black people or things of that nature, it makes me think of Bill Clinton, who created the crime bill, which gave you mandatory sentences, which locked you up with 3 strikes and you're out. And I would consider that very racist. And when you talk about the minds of Black people, there
You just muted on accident.
a lot of Black people will vote for the president, but they won't vote for the Senate. They won't vote in their city council. They're just not up to par in politics. If they were up to par in politics, they would be outraged at the way that Bill Clinton destroyed their communities. If you look at the movie called The 13th Amendment, it'll show you how the Republican Party, since the end of slavery, and political parties have always tried to keep the Black person down. In the 80s, the Republicans were sweeping the elections. And Ronald Reagan's term manager said we used the word, back in the day, we could use the word N, if you understand what that means, degrading Black people. He said, now we can't use that word. We have to use code words like criminal. And when Reagan would say,
listen, a bad person is a bad person regardless of their political affiliation. And when you're telling us about Bill Clinton and the crime bill, I will agree with you. That was a bad bill. That was incredibly racist. And then once again, like the reoccurring theme that we've gone over and over and over again is how ultimately the right seems to be worse, especially today with Trump. I mean, you were even just like talking about keeping Black people down in America. Dude, what has Donald Trump done to everybody that has been in vocal opposition to him? What about the Wall Street Journal that's owned by the Murdoch family that also operates Fox News, which single-handedly won him the election by spreading disinformation? Now he's fucking suing them for $10 billion. He wants to keep them down. You know, what about E. Jean Carroll? Called him a rapist because he did grape her. Tried to hurt her, defame her, call her crazy, and call her imprisonment, try to keep her down. And once again, just re-referencing back to that point, how Black Americans so disproportionately despise Trump. Well, what would happen if Black Americans gained more electoral power in the sense of possessing a higher median income on average, possessing a larger net worth on average? All this would ultimately amount not only to more electorate power, but more of a say-so over who's representing them in public offices. Donald Trump wouldn't want that for a damn second. I think that this ultimately amounts to the conclusion, just like he's keeping all of his other forms of opposition down. He wants to keep Black Americans down too, because they're in opposition to him. But this just all simply goes back to how disproportionately so Trump's, Black Americans hate Trump, and how Trump hates people that hate him, and how Trump wants to keep people down that hate him. What this amounts to is just the continual perpetuation of a system in which just emboldens and inflares racism against Black Americans, emboldens and inflares systems in which disproportionately negatively impact them, and attempts to prevent as covertly yet as loudly as possible, the further oppression of Black Americans and the prevention of them from building more electoral power. And I think that everything that you've said here about the Democrats, or at least a handful of them, have been absolutely right. How the Democrats have served as a disinterest to Black Americans, how the crime bill was racist as fuck, and how they've continued to virtue signal about caring, but advocating for no policy that specifically addressed the struggles of Black Americans. But I mean, I think for all the reasons and more, Trump's worse, and Trump will only set us back further. I'm also going to bring up Santana. Santana just has to come up. I'll happily connect him. But, those are some of my thoughts.
Well, Dean, I think it's even worse when the Democratic Party exhibits the same racism. When you have a voice like mine that speaks on that Democratic side and they kick you out because you speak like that, I think that's even worse. When you toy civil rights in a person's face and you say, I'm fighting for your justice, I'm fighting for your equality, and then when you give them the power, they turn it to something else. They can give $180 billion to Ukraine while they're promising you things and they're still suffering. When I told you about Gary Chambers, you got a voice that spoke up for my people, inequality, justice. And when that voice is there, you shut them down. When you have these opportunities and you're given the power and you have all these Black people with hope and you shut them down, that's even worse. When you have a president on this side that's only had 4 years of dealing with it, he has some ways about himself, but that's nowhere near 65 years of nothingness. I mean, we tore this country up in 2020 when we saw George Floyd get done like that. And then the Democrats get there and they can't even deliver. The way that you speak about Donald Trump is the way that you should speak about Democrats that have failed the people. These people that have been in these immigration things, they should have been had citizenship when the Democrats had party. Black Americans should have been had equality things. But when a voice speaks like that, say, for example, are you familiar with the rapper Ice Cube? During the elections, Ice Cube asked for an opportunity to speak to both presidents about inequality and this unequal wealth gap with Black people. Donald Trump said, I'll speak with you. The Democrats said, we'll
Did
get
he did he speak with
They
him?
never spoke with him.
Did he speak with him?
Yes.
No, he didn't.
Did
No,
the
he didn't.
Did the Democrats speak
No,
with
no,
him?
no. I'm talking about Ice Cube with the Platinum Plan and Donald Trump. Donald Trump said, if I won the election, I would speak with you. And then after that point, he never spoke with him. He lost the election, but after that, he has never spoke on doing anything for Black America ever since. It's weird that you come up here and you talk about the actual misgivings of the Democratic Party, yet the Democratic Party as a whole has benefited not only Black Americans, but Americans, period, more than the Republican Party, period. And understanding that once you the when you do for the least of, you do for the most of, and you actually institute policies that actually help the lower class, it pushes everybody up. I mean, you sitting here saying specifically, oh, Donald Trump, like Mike Tyson, he did some. Donald Trump has never ever. Dean made the point very loud and proud. Donald Trump doesn't like Black people because Black people don't like Donald Trump. And for those few Black people that Donald Trump seems to like, it's not because they're Black or even because they're good people. It's because they're wealthy or they're celebrities. It's proximity. It's not about their race.
Santana, have you ever spoken a voice out against the Democrats for the racism that they've done to the people?
Yes.
For who? Against who?
against multiple people, more so specifically that the Democratic Party doesn't do things that actually helps more people, right? They don't go far enough. And again, I don't have to say, oh, they're not doing this for the black community, they're not doing that for the black community. I say that they're not doing enough for everyone. That's the problem.
So my argument is I don't hear that voice loud enough. Santana, are you familiar with Gary Chambers?
Yes.
Are, are
Yes,
you
I am.
are you satisfied with what the Democratic Party did to him?
No, I'm not satisfied with how the Democratic Party works as a whole, right? So I make sure, just to make sure you understand this, I don't like the established Democratic Party. I don't, right? But the thing that I do know is the established Democratic Party is completely better than anything on the right. Not even far. When you have white nationalists like Stephen Miller writing policy for the Trump administration, when you have Tom Homan actively going after brown people to deport them in a disgusting way, when you have what's the guy's name? I can't remember, but the ambassador to Israel specifically targeting those people in Gaza. They don't care about not only Black Americans, they don't care about anyone that's not white Christians. It's weird that you're siding yourself with them.
Well, I am a swing voter, so I go whichever way I feel better. And I just feel betrayed by the Democrats. But if I'm looking at this as a bipartisan thing where I want to go, I still don't see a strong future, even in the Democratic Party. I still don't see them really, like, I live in Alabama. They give no opportunity to vote in Alabama where a person can be sent to the electric chair for anything. The laws can be so messed up and twisted, but the Democratic Party has no hold in that state. But when they
Yeah.
had an opportunity to run for senator and Doug Jones ran, Doug Jones did commercials about civil rights when he fought for civil rights in the Birmingham bombers and how he was going to stand for black people. And I was the person that voted for you. But when he came to Selma, where some of my fraternity brothers are the mayor there, and they
Which
asked him,
fraternity?
Kappa Alpha Psi, and they asked
Mm.
him,
So you're a
what?
new.
I'm a new from Gamma
Okay.
Phi chapter, baby, Alabama A&M.
By the
When
I
way,
hear
they
you. Listen,
I just want to point out
go
here,
ahead, Dean.
this conversation can only go on for another like literally like 2 or 3 minutes. I gotta go
Yeah.
hop off so I could pack my bags and go to bed.
if I could just
Yeah.
finish here, when they asked Doug Jones when he came to Selma, what do you plan on doing for Black lives, like Black Lives Matter, that they're going through a lot of difficult things? Doug Jones said, we're not going to answer divisive questions like that. But he's running a campaign where he's saying he's fighting for civil rights. But when you ask him right there in Selma, what are you going to do for Black Lives Matter? We're not going to answer divisive questions like that.
Sure. Okay, let me just hop in real quick because I know Dean has to go. Dean, quick question for you. Alabama, is that a democratically held state or a republicanly held state? A Republican held state?
Oh, not only is Alabama a Republican state, but I think if you look at their voting demographic, it's like 80% Republican, like some crazy
Mhm.
shit.
Hey, Dean, do you think that there's a, good proportion of gerrymandering in Alabama?
Alabama, Louisiana, Texas is a big one right now. I mean, we see a whole lot of gerrymandering in red states right now because Donald Trump is telling them to do it on live TV. It's kind of crazy.
Yep, yep. Dean, last question for you. Do you think that the individual state level differs from the federal level, especially when you talk about the actual political power of the president versus, let's say, state senators?
Do they, when you say differ, do you just mean they have different levels of power? Yes,
Yes, yes, and different functions depending on state versus federal.
absolutely.
Yeah. So the point of all of this is, listen, I hear you. Alabama is a state that needs reform, just like most of the South. And I understand where you're coming from as far as the lackluster push in the South from the Democratic Party. I'm from South Carolina. I actually voted for many Democrats hoping to take Lindsey Graham out of office, only for people to not show up like they should. The point is, your vote for Donald Trump and the Republican Party is one that hurt not only you on a state level with Alabama, but it hurt the rest of the country. It actively went against all people within the country, not just black people within the country, but all people within the country, because of this administration is only looking to benefit the wealthy. That's specifically their target. And so voting for the Republican Party, voting for Donald Trump it's only going to make things worse. Like literally, you put yourself in your state, black people, and people in the United States in a worse position because you thought that voting for Trump would actually fix Alabama, and that's not how it works.
So if I could land with this, Dean, I know you got to go. You have
I really do gotta
games.
go. I gotta be up at 4 a.m. I should have been off like 26 minutes ago.
And I do appreciate you having me. If I could come again, I would greatly appreciate it. But I do want to land with this and not take up much of your time. When I did align with the Republican Party, I was able, as I told you, I was an activist, and I called out the disproportion of the sports activities in our neighborhood. When I aligned with this party, I was able to get housing development done. I was able to get a recreation bill where, at first, in my neighborhood, it wasn't a basketball court or anything that we could have participation in. I got that bill on the side of Huntsville. I joined the community development board, and everything that I've worked towards has happened. So, you know, it's an opportunity there. And Trump won't be president forever.
He
But
won't, but the actual policies and everything that he's doing is going to not only be in place, but it's going to hurt the country for at least the next 50 to 60 years. Like your vote today, it wasn't just about today, it's about the next 50 to 60 years. So, I don't know. Anyway, Dean, thank you for having me up. I appreciate you.
Santana,
Parker,
appreciate you for coming up.
Same here. Thank you, man.
see you
I
guys.
appreciate it, bro.
There's two people I got to thank real quick. Sarah, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal saying Trump screwed Carol and got screwed, now suing because of Epstein. Hopefully it happens again. Oh my
I'll
God.
go start my stream. I'll see you, Dean.
See you, Parker. Yeah, no, the Murdoch family, they're coming out guns a-blazing against Trump in that lawsuit, which is exactly what we want to see. I really hope that Trump gets sued there and gets fucked over bad. Sadie, thank you for the $20 over on Baybell. Let's get 200 Sadie W's. They say, Gen X are here. Me and my 3 kids all watch and love what you do. I find your content to be a blessing because you bring so much common sense to the table. I'm a Christian and Jesus would be disgusted with what's going on under Trump's admin and his cult following. And hi, Parker. You also rock. Peace, guys. Well, Sadie, thank you for being a tried and true Christian. I rarely see any of those anymore, so just know that I appreciate you so much. And for everybody watching, like I said, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be hopping on a flight real early, super duper early, in fact. I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. I'll do a stream off my phone, so it won't be the super high quality camera and the setup and whatnot. And yeah, I also just appreciate everyone so much for the love today. And it was another good day debates, but I'm officially beat. Got to go to bed super early. Still got a back-to-back and a plane ticket to buy. So I'm off. Jesus Christ. It's about to be a very hectic next 24 hours of my life. See you all hopefully tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on Instagram for updates on when and where I'll be live, as well as what I'm doing. You know, you never know. I might decide to take a day off. I guess the only way you'll know is if you follow me on Instagram and get those updates on that updates channel or story. At Dean Withers. Look it up. You'll find it. Oh, we also at 2 million followers over there. So big fucking W's for that. Anyways, go raid Parker. At Parker Get a Job on TikTok. At Parker Get a Job on YouTube. And somebody in the chat just asked if I am going to be seeing Parker. Yeah, I think that we're actually doing a dinner tomorrow night with both of the girlfriends. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Peace and love.